Welcome back, everybody, to Beyond the Game. This time we're going Big Ten edition. We're gonna switch it up, and we're just gonna break down each videos per conference today, as there are so many games, and I love all the Big Ten action. So let's just get right into it. As the first game of the day, we got Oregon at Michigan State. I think it's gonna be a great game. Oregon coming off about four straight losses. Michigan State two straight losses out on the West Coast. Um, but my takes on this game, I think Michigan State is going to bounce back. I think Oregon's struggling more, and I think Michigan State being at home, they're 11-0 at home. They were 9-0 in conference before the two losses they took out on the West Coast. I think Tom Izzo has the team bounce back. But probably my key player for the game is going to be from Oregon to give Oregon a chance. I think it's going to be Jackson Shelstead. He's averaging 17 the last two games. Probably one of the fastest point guards in the Big Ten. I think if Oregon wants to keep it close, Jackson Shelstead has to drop probably around 15 points. Um, Next game, we got Wisconsin at Iowa. I'm loving this. I'm a Badger fan, and I'll just straight up say I think the Badgers go in and continue to smoke Iowa as we beat them by 30 last time in a great game at the Kohl Center. I think we go to Iowa. I think we get the job done again. Spread's 5.5. Um, I love the Badgers to cover that easily. I also love the over. As I said, when we played last time, it was like 200 total points combined. It was 85 to 116, so 190, and it's at 160. I think these are two high-scoring offenses. Iowa plays zero defense, so I love the Badgers to win by probably at least 6, definitely by 10, and I love the over smacking. My players to watch probably this game are both two guys from Wisconsin. I think Stephen Krell has a get back game. Carter Gilmore's been playing awesome, but I think we try to get Krell in going. I think his line was like 9.5 points. I think he easily has 10 points tomorrow in a high scoring game. And I think Max Klesman, he's been playing decent but not great. And I think he's a guy for the Badgers to have success in March. We need to get Max Klesman going, so I like those two guys tomorrow. Then we got probably one of the best games in the Big Ten tomorrow. Besides the Oregon Michigan State game, we got Michigan at Indiana. Indiana, it's a tough place to play at, but Indiana this year is terrible. They're 5-7 in conference. Michigan's ranked 24th too, but they're only 2.5 point favorites, which is super confusing to me. But me personally, I'm just gonna go again, like I did with St. John's yesterday. I'm going with the better team. I love Michigan -2.5. Take them -4.5. That's just my opinion. I think Danny Wolf and Golden can easily stop Ballo inside. I think they can shut him down, and that's all Indiana has going for them. So definitely my key player in this game is Danny Wolf and Golden. I think the two 7-footers are going to hopefully stop Ballo and just shut down Indiana. It should be Michigan smooth sailing. Next game, I'm not really going to go too deep into it. It's two teams that I don't think are that good and have a chance to, I don't know. It's Penn State at UCLA. Penn State's terrible. Just say it how it is. And I guess UCLA is 8-4 in conference, but they're a team. I mean, they did beat my Badgers, and they did just beat Michigan State, so I gotta give them respect. But I just don't know where I'm leaning this game. I'm probably gonna go UCLA -9.5, but I'm not loving it, so I'm probably staying away from that. Would say stay away from that one. We got Illinois at Minnesota next. Personally, I think Minnesota covers. I think Illinois is the most overhyped team in the Big Ten. I don't think they deserve to be ranked, and Minnesota's been hot. Plus, it's at the barn. All my Minnesota friends know that the barn gets loud, packed out, and Dylan Garcia, he's the player to watch in this game. I think Dylan Garcia just keeps doing what he's doing, carries this Minnesota team who's 10-5 at home. I think he carries them to another upset win, and I think there's going to be a court storming again at the barn. Last game of the night then in the Big Ten is Northwestern at Washington. It's kind of like the UCLA and Penn State game to me. Washington's favored by 2.5 against Northwestern. Washington's 2-9 in conference. Northwestern's 4-8 in conference. Northwestern's 0-6 on the road, but I do think, my personal opinion, I'm just gonna go Northwestern. Um, Plus 2.5. I think Washington's probably the worst team in the Big Ten. So I know they're home and Northwestern's traveling out there, but Northwestern's been playing good. That's a big reason why I'm leaning them. They just had a big win over USC by 2, and then they played Wisconsin to 6 points, and I think Wisconsin would beat Washington by 20, 25. So I think North Washington covers the 2.5 and wins. So that's about all I have for the Big Ten on this Saturday slate of games. I hope you guys are all watching. Watch all the games, and I'll coming out with more videos about all the other conferences. Let me know what is your favorite game in the Big Ten today. We'll see you next time. Stay positive. What is up, everybody? I hope everybody's weekend is off to an amazing start with a great Friday night, and now you're ready for a great day of college basketball to start your Saturday. We're going to be covering the SEC here, probably the best conference in all of college basketball, so I'm excited to talk about the amazing slate we get today. We'll start it off right away. We got Tennessee at Oklahoma. 5.5 points is what Tennessee's favored by at Oklahoma. And I love Tennessee. For me, it's just Tennessee's the better team. I'll be quick with it. For me, the key player here is Zakai Ziegler. Probably another great point guard who's just experienced, such a great passer. I think he just dropped 21 points, 8 assists in his first game back after his injury. So I think he continues his bounce back, as Tennessee's ranked 4th in the net for a reason. They're great defensively. I see Tennessee having no problems with Oklahoma. Then we got South Carolina at Kentucky. Was kind of thought in the head like how I was gonna lean this game, and I think I'm just gonna roll Kentucky. Kentucky is their 11.5 point favorites at home. My reasons are they're at home, and South Carolina's 0-9 conference play. Pretty straight and simple. Kentucky, they're still one of the best offensive teams in the country. Kobe Brea is going to be great for them. If I had to pick up a breakout game, probably Kobe Brea. I see him hitting probably 3 threes. That'll be my guess. Next game, we got Texas Vanderbilt. The only unranked teams. Unranked, the only game that doesn't have a ranked team playing, but it's 2 teams who are both very well. They're both top 50 in net rankings, and it's going to be a great game. Vanderbilt's favored by 2.5, and I'm going to say I like Vanderbilt. They're 11-1 at home, and both teams are 4-6, 4-5 in conference play. So I love the home team in college basketball. Give me Vanderbilt. Then we got both teams who are ranked, Texas A&M at Missouri, and I'm going to roll with the home team. It's going to be a common theme with college basketball, I think. You're going to see a lot of people just taking the home team as it's hard. Like, that's the best thing about college basketball is the environment. Missouri's 15-0 at home. They're ranked for a reason. They're super underrated. Kobe Grill, straight shooter, he's a great 6-man. I see Missouri covering the 4.5 spread that's put out there, but I can also see it being close. But if I had to pick, I'd probably say Missouri minus 4.5. And then we get into probably the game of the day. Florida at Auburn, sixth ranked team Florida versus the number 1 ranked Auburn. Auburn's favored by 8.5, and it's for a good reason. They're historically this year the best team that we've seen in a while, offensively, defensively. They're the net ranked 1. Their strength of schedule is insane in the super tough SEC, and they're 9-0 in conference play. So, and I love Auburn here. They're at home. Tennessee beat Florida by like 20. I think Auburn can shut down Florida too. I got two key players in this game. If Florida wants to keep it close, it's going to be Walter Clayton Jr. He's got to have a big game. It's kind of who they go for big shots. I think he's got to have 20 points for Florida to keep it close in this game. On the other side of the ball, we have for Auburn, Broom, probably one of the best college basketball players in all of college basketball this year. Him and Cooper Flagg battling for Player of the Year. Um, he just does it all on the glass, scoring wise. He's been back from injury for a couple games now, but Auburn, just their depth, and Bruce Pearl just is a great coach. So I love Auburn here, and I'm excited to watch this 3 o'clock matchup. Then we got Mississippi State and Georgia, kind of a not as exciting game as the other games in the SEC, but it's still another great game. You got the 22nd ranked team, Mississippi State, going at Georgia, but Georgia's favorite by 1.5. And I like the home team. I mean, they're technically the underdog as they're not ranked, but if you go off of net ratings, Georgia's 32nd and Mississippi State's 30th, so they're right there. But Georgia's 13-1 at home. For me, that's the deal breaker here. I'm rolling the home team. I think if you're 50-50, but you really want to do something with the game, just trust the home team. That's my best advice I can say. Then we got Ole Miss and LSU, another kind of not so great SEC game. Ole Miss is the 25th ranked team going to LSU, and Ole Miss is favored by 5.5. And I'm gonna go back on what I said and not take the home team. I'm gonna take Ole Miss, the 25th ranked team, against an LSU team that's 1-8 in conference. They're ranked 79th in the net. Ole Miss is ranked 20th. I think Ole Miss is one game where now I'm just trusting the better team. I think Ole Miss is the better team, so I like Ole Miss minus 5.5. And then we get into the last game, Alabama at Arkansas. A lot of people will be watching this. It's on ESPN for a reason. You got John Calipari, their team. They're getting hot right now. A couple big wins against Kentucky, obviously. But then you got the third-ranked Alabama with just a team that just runs. They score. They don't care if you score because they just think they're going to score more. And it's working for them. They're 8-1 in conference play. And they're favored by 5.5 here. And I think I like Alabama. I think Arkansas is overrated a little bit. I think they get a lot of hype because of John Calipari. With Boogie Flan hurt too. I think they're going to struggle more against this high-powered Alabama team. So, and Alabama's 8-1 in conference. They're 6-1 on the road, so that's why I'm not too worried about them being a road team. They're ranked 6th in the net, and it's just a better team. Arkansas is just, for me, they're overrated. Boogie Flan's hurt, and Alabama can score the basketball, which Arkansas, I think, is going to struggle with at times the rest of the season. So, yeah, that's SEC play. I hope you guys enjoyed the SEC talk. If you have any takes on the SEC or about anything, if you want a certain video or a certain team in the SEC you want more of a breakdown on, let me know. I'd love to do it. And as always, I hope everyone has a great rest of your day and stay positive. It is a great Saturday to talk about college basketball, and we're going to talk about the Big 12, Big East, and ACC in this little video. I'm just going to go through my favorite games probably in each of the conferences, and we'll start in the Big 12. We got, for me, the first game that stands out in the Big 12 is Iowa State and TCU. I'm looking for Iowa State to actually bounce back at home. They're really good at home, and I think Curtis Jones is a key player for me in that game. He's been really down from his typical 17 points a game the last 3 games. I think he bounce backs and goes over the 17 points per game against a really rough TCU team. The next game in the Big 12 I'm looking at is Kansas and Kansas State. The good old Kansas rivalry. And actually, I kind of like Kansas State in this one. I think Kansas is just... actually, I'm going to switch my mind. We're switching mid-take. I'm rolling with Kansas. Bill Self, actually, he's a great coach. I probably am going to stay away from Kansas come the tournament, But in this game against Kansas State and Coleman Hawkins, I just don't think they can get the job done against Hunter Dickinson and Mayo, just overall better players. Even though it is at Kansas State, I'm going with the better team. I'm switching my gut, not going with the home team. We're riding with Kansas. I like them -4.5. And then for the rest of the Big 12, there's nothing really special. The only other game that I would say is Houston at Colorado. Houston's a fifth-ranked team, but I think they take care of Colorado pretty easily. I don't think Colorado's nothing special, but 14.5 is a lot of points, but I could definitely see Houston covering that total. Now we're going to go to the Big East, one of my favorite conferences besides the Big Ten, just because I kind of like Creighton, and that's the game we're gonna start with. In the Big East is gonna be Marquette and Creighton. I'm looking at it's gonna be on Fox, national televised at 1. Creighton's hosting 11th ranked Marquette, who just lost to St. John's, so they're coming off a tough loss. But then you have a Creighton team who I think is really good. They haven't lost since they last played Marquette all the way in early January. So this Creighton team's hot. You got Marquette coming off a tough loss. And I love Creighton here. I really like Ryan Kalkbrenner. I think Stephen Ashworth is great. And I just don't see anybody on Marquette that can stop Ryan Kalkbrenner this time, especially at home. And I think Stephen Ashworth is going to continue doing an amazing job leading this Creighton team. I am a little worried just because of Stevie Mitchell and how great his defense can be on Ashworth, and then Cam Jones, obviously. Cam Jones is just a complete difference maker for Marquette. But I think that's going to be a great game, but I would lean towards Creighton. Just a little biasy, though, in that pick. And then the next Big East game we got is Providence at Butler. It's not a great, impactful game, but I like the spread on it. Providence is +4, and I actually like this spread for Providence. Providence beat Butler earlier in the year, 19, as I'm looking at, by 19 at Providence, and now it's at Butler, and they're +4. I don't get how a team can beat a team by 19 and then be +4. I know they've lost some guys because of injury, and there's some talk there. Was it injury, or does he want to transfer out? But I love Providence +4 against a pretty average Butler team. Now we're going to finish it up here in the ACC, and there's a couple games I like. I'm going to start with Pittsburgh and North Carolina. I don't think North Carolina is that good. They're favored by 4.5 against Pittsburgh, and I think Pittsburgh is a better team. So if I had to lean away and suggest one, I'm saying I would rather take Pittsburgh +4.5. Both teams, Pittsburgh's 5-6 in conference, and North Carolina is 6-5. But I just think, I don't know, just something is telling me that Pittsburgh can get it done in a huge road win. So I do like Pittsburgh here against North Carolina, and it is tough to play at North Carolina. So it's kind of a coin flip too. The next game is Wake Forest at California. I'm talking about this game just because I love Wake Forest's star player, Hunter Silas. He's a player to watch in this game. Wake Forest is 2.5-point favorites at California, or Cal, and I love Wake Forest -2.5. If you want to do anything, I would definitely recommend that. Take them all the way up to -5 if you want. But I think Wake Forest goes to California and can beat them easily by 10. Then the last ACC game I want to talk about is Duke at Clemson. It is a battle of probably one of the two better teams in the ACC. Obviously, you have Duke, who's one of the best teams in the country if it wasn't for Auburn. Duke, I'll say it now. I said to friends in the preseason, Duke's my team, who I think they can win the whole thing, even with freshmen, just because of Cooper Flagg. But this is going to be a tough test for them. Clemson's the second. They're second in the ACC behind Duke. So it's going to be about what can Cooper Flagg do, what can Khan do, can Tyrese Proctor step up, and it's a test for Clemson too. You're at home. You could really use this win. They're 11-2 at home, so helps them a little bit. I'm assuming it's going to be a sellout game as you're having the number 2 ranked team. So, but if I was to pick a team who I think is going to win, I'm going to ride with Duke. I just think they're that good where they're going to win. So, 3 conferences, super quick. All the games that I love from each one. There's so many teams in each conference, and don't want to go through kind of the middling teams. So did more of the games that I love and are going to be national televised. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, let me know if you want me to go through any other games or teams or dive deeper into the conferences and actually like pick out, go through a longer video of who I think is going to win the conference and make a run in March. I would love to do that. But as always, let's stay positive.